What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Broadway Joel, the voice of Dominican boxing. And last time I went live, I kind of had bad news with Gervonta getting arrested. Uh, things were unclear as to if the fight was still gonna go on. We didn't know if he was gonna get bail. We didn't know much about the situation. There's a little bit more clarity as to the everything that's happening. I don't know the exact details, but I do know he was granted $1,000 bond. He bonded out. So he's out on bail right now, and I haven't heard any news of the fight being canceled. There's a quote going around from Tim Smith, who works with PBC, saying that the fight will still be will still be going on. So I'm excited for that. I like that. The fact that this fight is still going to happen. This is a big opportunity for Hector Luis Garcia. I would have hated for him to lose out on this opportunity due to something out of his control. You know what I'm saying? Like, had Gervonta gotten injured and had to pull out, things like that happen in boxing. But for him to get arrested and then that the fight not to happen because of that right there would have really would have upset me. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the case. That's not the case. We don't have to worry about it. Uh, 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 the fight again. From all my sources, it looks like it's still going to go on. It doesn't look like it's going to be affected in any kind of way. So I'm excited to come to you guys this time. Last it was kind of like, oh, I don't know, it might not happen, and I was worried because I'm going to the fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to the fight, and so I was worried, like, damn, man, is the fight gonna be canceled? Is the fight gonna be, still go on, but with a different main event? It's like, I live in New York, man. I'm not going to DC to see Boots fight some unknown Ukrainian. You know what I'm saying? Like some dude I never seen fight. Like, and I watch boxing pretty closely. So if I never seen you fight, that mean that's saying something. So I am excited to see Boots, especially in person, because I look at it from the perspective like, all right, let's say Boots, I see Boots now on this undercard. And then in 2-3 years, he becomes this superstar, megastar, like kind of like a Floyd Mayweather. And who knows where his career ends up? But let's just play it out that way, where it's impossible to get a ticket because they're so expensive. I can at least say, hey man, I saw him on the come up live. But again, I ain't want to see that as the main event. I wanted to see Hector Luis Garcia get his opportunity against Gervonta Davis. That's what I paid for. And looks like we gonna get it. We gonna get it from everything. Everything looks like it's pointing up. I'm excited. By the way, anybody who wants to call in, I pinned the link to the top of the chat. Feel free to click. Today I really don't have necessarily a topic, with the exception of this. So we could talk about all kind of boxing. But yes, I definitely did want to do this live and let people know it's looking like we're still gonna have a fight next week. January 7th in Washington, D.C. It looks like it's still gonna go on. But anything you guys want to talk about, it doesn't have to be about Dominican boxing, although I know that that's mostly what I want to talk about. Just feel free to call in or write in the chat, and I'll definitely answer those questions for you guys, man. I see Ioka is fighting for you guys who watch the lower weights. He's fighting. But what's going on, guys? Hold on one second. I appreciate you checking Sarafina. Yeah, man. Yo, for those who weren't on that space. So there was a Twitter space, and I'll talk about it, I don't care. So there was a Twitter space where this is boxing manager. Her name is Sarafina. And she was saying how Gervonta Davis needs to be charged with attempted murder, and how he shouldn't be allowed to ever box anymore, and this is his second case and this and that. And I was just telling her, like, we don't know the full details of this case. Now, whatever the one where he grabbed the girl at the basketball, the girl, you hear me, the woman at the basketball game, And whatever, you want to make your judgments on him, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But I was like, with this case, we don't know the specifics, and you over here, uh, uh, saying he should be charged with attempted murder. You don't even know what happened. She goes, "Oh, he could have killed that woman." I'm like, "But do you know what happened?" And she just kept dancing around the question. And she was saying how she was a survivor of domestic abuse. And I'm not making fun of that in any way, shape, or form, but I was like, so I'm a journalist. Like a lot, again, that's one thing. Like a lot of people, they see me on Twitter Spaces, they see me on the YouTube, and they probably just like, oh, this is just some guy. He just, he just bought a camera and he just talks. And no, I'm a real journalist. Went boop boop boop, did my research. I was like, yo, don't you work with Marcus Brown? She goes, yeah, I'm his manager and this and that. All right, well, he has had 4 different cases of domestic violence. And she just really, that shit really just like, oh, well, I know the specifics of the case. So I was like, well, it was 4 different cases. So, like, do you know the specifics of all of them? And long story short, she pretty much calmed her tune after that. I'm like, yo, you can't be throwing stones in a glass house. You know what I'm saying? You work for a person who's been caught with domestic violence on 4 different occasions, and you talking about Tank, who, let's just say, he's been charged with 2 different occasions. And listen, hitting a woman is wrong. It's something I would never ever condone. But if my math is right, 4 is worse than 2. So yeah, no, she just, it's just funny how like, since she's not making money with Tank, he should be he should be charged with attempted murder. But since you making money with Marcus Brown, it was, oh no, maybe let's see. I know the case. So I was like, oh, well, do you know the specifics of all 4 cases? Like, yo, and if you read the specifics of the case, it's pretty crazy. So it's whatever, man. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand what her like her line of thinking. If you're gonna be so hard on somebody, but still work with somebody who has that same charge. It's pretty crazy. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. That's enough about that. I don't want to give her too much light. But yeah, the W, you know what? I'm not even gonna address that. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I haven't done? I haven't talked about my year end awards. So I'll do that now. Why not? By the way, if anybody wants to call in, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. So for fighter of the year, how about this? I'm gonna do 2 things. I'm gonna do like one for everybody, like in general, fighter of the year, fight of the year, and then one for like the Dominicans. How about that? I'm the voice of Dominican boxing, so I'll do both. So how about I start off with upset of the year? Upset of the year. It's for both. It is both for just Dominicans and for the world. Upset of the year: Hector Luis Garcia upsetting Chris Colbert. He was a 40-1 underdog. He was not looked at as any type of threat towards Chris Colbert, including me. I didn't think he had a chance against Chris Colbert. I thought Chris Colbert was going to beat him. And boy, was I wrong, and I was happy to see wrong. And you know what's funny? I was kind of on the fence who I was gonna root for, because Chris Colbert's from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, and I've seen Chris Colbert since the amateurs. So I don't remember who I rooted for, but I might have rooted for Chris Colbert just off the strength that, again, I don't know him personally, but I've seen him since the amateurs. He's from Brooklyn. We know a lot of the same people, so I might have been rooting for him. But I think I was rooting for him. I just remember watching the fight with my dad. And I was like, oh, like, man, this guy Hector, he won the first round. Oh, he won the second. And then all of a sudden we're both there, like, yeah, let's go, Hector, let's go. I immediately switched my pick. I was like, what am I doing rooting for this guy? This guy's Dominican. I should be rooting for this guy. He got the win. So definitely upset of the year. I'm going to give it to Hector Luis Garcia over Chris Colbert. As far as fight of the year, for the world, I'm gonna go Fundora Lubin. That was a pretty nasty fight. Both of them got dropped, and things got really violent at the ends towards Lubin. Lubin really took a beating, got beat up, and rightfully stopped. It was a pretty vicious fight, and one that I haven't rewatched, but I definitely want to rewatch sometime soon. I definitely want to rewatch that. Fight of the year for a Dominican, I want to say is definitely Akbadov versus Puello. That was a pretty fun, entertaining, close fight. Uh, the scorecards were all over the place, like on Twitter and with the judges, and even Steve Farhood scored it for Akhmadov. And he says that every time he scores a round, he puts a little star next to the round if he feels it could have gone either way. And he goes, there was 5 rounds that he put stars on. So he was like, I had no idea who this fight is going to. And it ended up going to Puello's way, thank God. But yeah, as far as for the Dominicans, I want to say that was fight of the year. Knockout of the year, I'm between two. I'm between two of them. I'm between Lee Wood over Michael Conlon and Lee Wood over Michael Conlon, and there was another fight. Caleb Plant versus Anthony Darrell. I was actually at that fight, the Caleb Plant versus Anthony Darrell. It was kind of weird because the fight was kind of being boring. I was booing the hell out of it. And then out of nowhere, Caleb Plant, boom, one shot KO'd him. And that was pretty entertaining. But I'm going to give it a Lee Wood over Michael Conlon, man. It was a 12th round knockout, knocked him out the ring. And he kind of just like flattened out and landed on his head. I think that's a fight that I'm not gonna. That's a knockout that I think I'm gonna have to give the knockout of the year to, for real. As far as for the Dominicans, we didn't really have any like one punch knockouts like that. But that De Los Santos KO stoppage of Rayo, just the whole fight in general was very entertaining. But I want to say that the knockout that got me most excited was that one. Another one, Adames knocking out Montiel, but I don't think that was as entertaining as fucking De Los Santos, just beating, Rayo from pillar to post. So I'm gonna have to give him as the Dominican knockout of the year. Fighter of the year, this is a tough one. Because Bivol had a great year with beating both Canelo and Zerto. Bam had a really good year beating Quadras, SSR, and beating Gonzalez towards the end of the year. And Hector Luis Garcia also had a good year, being a big underdog against Chris Colbert and then winning in dominant fashion over Roger Gutierrez. But I'm gonna go Bam Rodriguez. I'm gonna give that award to Bam Rodriguez. You move up and weight, take a fight on short notice, drop Quadras and beat him, and then in your next fight you stop a future Hall of Famer in SSR, and then end it by beating Gonzalez. That's 3 fights to 2. For if you're comparing both Garcia and Bivol. So I'm gonna give it to Bam Rodriguez as fighter of the year. Fighter of the year in terms of Dominicans. I have a video coming out actually today. Tomorrow, where I present Hector Luis Garcia with his fighter of the year. So he's definitely the Dominican fighter of the year for me. Definitely the Dominican fighter of the year for me. Content creator of the year is definitely Broadway Joel. Nah. And I think that's it for the awards. Am I missing any? Like I'm not gonna remember round of the year and stuff like that, like all the minuscule awards, but I think I got them pretty much all. I got knockout of the year, fight of the year, fighter of the year, and upset of the year, prospect of the year. I didn't. Prospect of the year is somebody. I'm the only one, I guess, who's really high on this kid. Because I haven't seen nobody else have him as prospect of the year. So I'm probably the only one that's going to give him this award. So I'll be out on my own on this one. But I think Raymond Murataya, he's from California. I believe he's of Mexican descent, trains with Robert Garcia. Raymond Murataya, I think that guy's the goods, man. I like, everybody's like drooling over Keyshawn Davis, and Keyshawn Davis is a talented fighter, silver medalist for a reason. But I don't know. I don't know. Give me Raymond Muratalla, bro. Give me that guy. I'll bet my chips on him. He is a little older. I believe he's like 25, but he only has like 16, 15 fights. He's my prospect of the year. He looks like the goods. He has a good trainer in Robert Garcia, and he's on the top rank side. Top rank knows how to develop their fighters. And from what I'm hearing, he's actually going to fight Jeremiah Nakatilia next. So he's taking a big step up in his next fight. I listen, that's my prospect of the year. I'm sorry. As far as on the Dominican side, listen, I don't know if De Los Santos counts because he's currently ranked in the WBC, but he's ranked in the WBC by beating Rayo Valenzuela, who was on his way to become prospect of the year. You know what I'm saying? Also, Luis Reynaldo Nunez is ranked in the WBA, but he's like 22, 23, and he hasn't really beaten nobody of significance where you're like, no, like, damn, he beat Brandon Figueroa. Like, how is he a prospect? So those two, again, I don't know if you can consider those guys prospects. There's also a guy named Francis Formeta. He's a lightweight. He has a really good jab. He has a really good jab and hook. I think he's probably naturally left-handed because he doesn't use his right as much as he should. But he's somebody I feel like people should should look out for. Shout out to James Valdez, says slick hair of the year, Broadway Joel. Yo, man, y'all be killing me, man. Yo, man, let me rock with my hair, man. Nah, I appreciate that. But yeah, man, I think I got it covered. But yeah, no, listen, circling back to prospect of the year, I think that kid Raymond Muratalla, he's signed to Top Rank, man. I think you guys need to really watch out for him. I really do. I think he's as good of a prospect as any of these guys that are gonna win the award. As far as pretty much, honestly, I only hear Keyshawn Davis's name being announced as the winner. Who I want to see who are the official nominees. I was text the list. The official nominees for prospect of the year. I'm gonna find it right now. 1 second. And then and because Raymond Muratalla wasn't on it, which again, he's my pick, so I definitely disagree with that. Let's see. The prospects of the year. Manager. No. Oh, no, it's not on the list. All right, never mind. Well, I can do trainer of the year. Trainer of the year for the world. You might have to, that last win over Michelle Rivera, Frank Martin had over Michelle Rivera. You might have to give that to Derek James. The whole year I've been pounding it for Bob Santos, and shout out to Bob Santos. Great guy, had a lot of good wins, but Derek James had a guy go undisputed, had a guy unified 3 belts, and then beats Michelle Rivera, who a lot of people were saying was a 50-50 fight with Frank Martin. Those are some good wins right there. You know what I'm saying? And yes, he lost. There's also the Jackson Marinez fight, which Jackson Marinez took the fight on short notice, but it's still a win under the resume. But for the Dominican trainer of the year, is definitely Bob Santos. Had Carlos Adames knock out Montiel, someone who went 12 with Charlo. Had Hector Luis Garcia upset Colbert. Puello beat Akbadov, and he was an underdog there. It wasn't a huge underdog, so that still counts as an upset. Hector Garcia beating Gutierrez for a belt. He had who else did he have? He had a couple other guys I can't name off the top of my head. But point is, look, those are some wins right there. Some really, really impressive wins, and he definitely put out a strong resume for trainer of the year. And if he doesn't get it this year, I'm sure next year he'll get it. He'll get it for sure, man. He'll get it. Uh, my man Vivi says if Kazuto Ioka wins, Ismail Salah has a very strong argument as well. That's also if we count Hector versus Colbert for Salas. I don't count Hector versus Colbert for Salas because Salas didn't train Hector for that fight. Salas was in, I believe, in Scotland. He was in Scotland training Robesi Ramirez. So, although at the time he was officially Hector's trainer, he wasn't training him for that fight. He was in Scotland with Robesi Ramirez. Hector told me that he called Salas and asked if he should take the fight, and Salas told him, "Oh hell yeah, you beat that guy, take that fight." So he did get the okay from his then trainer, but he didn't train him for that fight. Bob Santos was the one who trained him for that fight, and then take it a step further. Salas was still Hector's trainer for when up and coming to the Roger Gutierrez fight, but he was in Japan with Ioka. So that's why there was a whole big fallout with Garcia and Salas. But at no point did Salas train him for either the Colbert fight or the Gutierrez fight. So I can't give him credit for those fights. But who else Salas got? Oh, Salas got Joe Joyce, right? He had that big win over Parker. Who else Salas got? I don't know. By the way, I saw Ismail Salas in Vegas when I was out there for the Rivera Martin fight. Man, that dude is tiny. I was like, damn, man. I felt like resting my arm on his head. Like, yo, this dude was tiny as hell. But yeah, man. Oh, by the Vivi, who's this Adam Azim? I haven't seen him. I feel like a casual. You brought him up. I feel like a casual, man. Who is he? Who is he signed to? Matter of fact, let me pull up his box rack, because if you telling me people are making him as prospect of the year, I need to know what division he in, how good he is. Is he a medalist or something? Oh, he's from the UK. No wonder I haven't heard of him. No disrespect to fighters from the UK, man, but you know, it's just damn, he's 7-0 with 6 knockouts, so it's pretty impressive. Obviously, you know, the level of competition isn't great, but hey, knockouts and knockouts. Look, he's fighting guys 5-1, 8-1, 5-4, 9-3-1. Pretty much who you fight when you're 7-0. And he's knocked out 6 out of the 7. BoxRec don't have his and he doesn't show he won any amateur tournaments or nothing like that. Because I like to see if a guy won amateur tournaments and who he beat in the amateurs, to see if he beat any familiar names. But he fights in a division where it would have been hard for me to notice him, even if he was. Oh no, he's a lightweight. Oh no, his picture, he looked mad small. His picture. Yeah. Okay. I'll keep an eye out on him. What's up, Broadway? Do you see the sparring footage that was leaked between Haney and Garcia? I don't think Haney dominated him the way he was making it seem. Hector held his own for sure. I didn't see it, but from what I was told, that wasn't Hector who was sparring. Like people, I spoke to. Matter of fact, let me not say who I spoke to. Oh, I see it right now. Oh, hold on one second. You know what? I can't screen share, but I'm a watch. I'm gonna watch it right now. Y'all gonna get my live reaction. All right, yeah, that's definitely is Hector. It's only a 2 minute and 50 second, 56 second clip, and not much is happening. They're both kind of like going at each other, you know. And by the way, uh, uh, you know, you usually don't spar just one round, so him putting out one round of a footage should let you know that he just put out the round he probably did the best in. And so far, nobody's landed pretty much nothing significant. Haney has been landing his jab throughout the round, but nothing again, not a head snapping jab where it's like, whoa, like he's really putting it on. This been a nice little jab. He just landed a nice right hand on Hector. Hector's now pawned with his jab coming forward. So, all right. Haney landed a jab, but then Hector landed a left to the body. Not much is happening. Then again, it's Haney sparring. I shouldn't be expecting that some kind of entertaining knock him out, drag him out. Kind of Hector just landed a nice right hook as Haney spins out. Yeah, nobody's dominating each other, whether the way they made it out. Well, at least Haney made it out to see. Nobody's seems pretty even. Oh, nice jab, right hook. Hector tried jab to the body, missed, but then he backed out. So Haney kinda- Haney's holding. How much is new? Okay, let's see. Haney landed left hook, and then Hector landed his left hook. Now Haney landed, I mean, his right hook. Now Haney landed left hook. Things starting to heat up. Then Hector landed an overhand left. Again, if you ask me who's getting the better of the sparring, I want to say Haney, but not something where he's dominating so bad where it's so easy he has to get kicked out of the train. You know. And again, this is most likely Haney leaking the footage, and this is this Haney leaking the footage. He's putting out where he looked best. Yeah, so it ended. Nothing, honestly, nothing where I'm like, oh man, like, and he really put it on Garcia. He probably got the better of Garcia, but honestly, if you guys see the footage, it really is nothing impressive from either side. It's not like, damn, Haney really beat the shit out of Hector, or Hector really put it on Haney. It's kind of like, kind of even. But if you had to give the round, and not that you judge sparring, but if you had to give that round to somebody, you probably gave it to Haney. But nothing, not how he was trying to make it out to look. Not like how Haney was trying to make it out. I don't know. But yeah, no, honestly, I think what Haney when he brought out and said, he had to kick him out of camp and how easy Hector was, I don't think that was so much a shot at Hector as it was a shot at Tank. He wanted to uh, um, devalue Tank's win. If like let's just say Tank win, he wanted to say, "Well, I knew he was gonna win because I told you before the fight he was a sparring partner of mine, and I kicked him out because I was beating him up too bad." You get what I'm saying? I think it was more a shot at Tank than it was a shot at Hector. What he didn't know is this was gonna get back to Hector, and Hector was going to respond and expose everything. And I might have to repost that video of where Hector was telling me that that video was not true. Like he was like, "Yo," I mean, not that in July. Let me put it like this: I had went to Vegas and I interviewed Hector. Hector told me personally, "Yo, we sparred 2 times. First time it was pretty even," which, by the way, the footage that I saw, that's exactly what I saw. It was pretty even. I don't know when that was from. And then the second, the second sparring match, Hector alleges that he was too much for Haney, and they never called him back after that. That sounds more realistic to me than Haney was smacking him up so bad. And by the way, I just saw the footage. Smacking him up so bad that he was so non-competitive that he had to kick him out of training camp. Like, and I like what Bob Santos said in the interview with Ellie Seckback. He's like, all right, he's too much, he's too easy. Who did you bring in? Errol Spence? Like, you're gonna tell me that this dude who got so much amateur experience, it was an Olympian, wasn't enough, competition for you in sparring? It's like, come on, man. It's like If you're gonna lie, at least make a believable lie. Just be like, yo, it was a competitive sparring match, but I dropped him or something. That's something I could believe. I'm not saying that's not what happened because that's not even what he said. But if he was to say that, that's believable because you could drop somebody in sparring, but for you to say you dominated him so bad that you had to kick him out of training camp, you look a little bit ridiculous. To be honest with you, look a little bit ridiculous. Yeah. That was probably Haney's best round if he's the one who leaked it. Yeah, I mean, it definitely was him who leaked it. Why I doubt Hector has a fucking camera crew recording sparring sessions to have on deck in case somebody brings up that they got the better of him in sparring. I highly doubt that. You know what I'm saying? I do think that Haney does. Haney, yo, you type in Haney sparring in YouTube and you'll find a bunch of footage. So he has a history of putting out sparring matches. There's this sparring match with him and Shakur Stevenson that's out on the internet. You know what I'm saying? There's very few sparring footage with Hector in the internet. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's just the way the things go, man. People like there you go. Folks read too much into sparring. Look, sparring is not nothing. I'm not gonna say it's not nothing. Like, oh yeah, it's nothing, but it's definitely not everything, and it's definitely not something you can hang your hat on. Like, yeah, you first of all, you don't know who was cutting weight. You don't know if that was his first day back in the gym. You don't know if he was working on his jab or if he was working on something specifically. You don't know if he had a bad night's sleep, if he had a foot injury, or there's so many variables that come into to account with sparring. And then on top of that, you want to add on it could have been all right, you got the better of me, but now next time we spar, I adjusted and now I know what to do. Or I wasn't as sharp. I didn't warm up good enough. I didn't have a game plan. There's just a lot of things that can happen in sparring. Like it's now if you knock somebody out, that's pretty impressive. But that's not what Haney said. Haney ain't say he knocked them out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I ain't hear. I don't believe that. I heard Lomachenko made Shakur Stevenson quit and sparring. Nah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that, and I've never heard that. And I feel like I would have heard that. I would have heard that. I did hear Floyd got beat up by Errol Spence in sparring, but that was allegedly after he had gotten out of prison and wasn't as sharp, so he sparred Spence. And also Floyd early in his career had trouble with southpaws. You know what I'm saying? And he cleaned that up towards the end of his career. And when he sparred Spence, he already had that cleaned up. But old habits die hard. You never know. You never know. You know. Yeah, you should fire whoever you heard that from. Lomachenko's team said otherwise, and that was proven by Loma only sparring Shakur before the Rigo fight. Yeah, I never heard that rumor. And again, I would have heard that. That specific rumor I would have heard. I would have heard from multiple people, and if I never heard it, that's not true, man. That's not true. Yeah, I did have the pleasure of seeing Hector Luis Garcia spar in Vegas. That was cool, man. Like, just seeing him spar and seeing and you know what's funny, right? He kind of was. It kind of looked like he was taking it easy, and at points the other guy was getting like the better of Hector. I was like, what's going on? Then the guy started talking shit. Once that dude started doing that, Hector just turned it up. Boop, 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 boop. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, Hector must have just been working on something. But once the dude started talking, he was like, oh, hell no. Nah, this is not gonna happen. Just beat the fuck out the dude. And you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, all right. It pretty impressed me. But yeah, you can't make too much out of sparring. You never know what a person is looking to do or what a person is dealing with in training camp. That's why you gotta judge a person off a fight, You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I know I brought this up before, but Paul Spadafora got the better of Floyd Mayweather in sparring. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's Paul Spadafora? You know, in comparison to Floyd Mayweather, it's crazy. Yeah, Ismail Salah's gym has the smoke. Hector was definitely prepared for anyone and anything. That's the thing, man. And like in Vegas, yo, that's where the best sparring is. That's where Puello Adames, Hector Garcia, Teofimo, Devin Haney, Robeisy Ramirez, Tank Davis used to train over there. Who else? Um, just you know, all of Kenny Porter's fighters. You know, like, yo, Las Vegas, you gonna get that sparring match. Rolly Romero, like, there's a bunch of great top fighters, and even the like there's even people I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? These guys who are like 12-3, who are nasty but can't get a fight because they have an ugly record, but they're a dangerous fight, that train out there and spar. Like, you know, Kenneth Sims trains out there. It is Vegas. Listen, Vegas. If you want the best sparring, you go to Vegas. There's no other place in America, probably in the world, to be honest with you, because people come from all over the world. Like, there's Ukrainians and these Russians and you know, Mexicans and you know, people from the UK. You know, Top Rank Gym is over there. You know, it's like people come from all over the world to spar and prepare themselves in Vegas. So the fact that Hector does his training camps over there lets you know how what kind of work he's getting out there. You know what I'm saying? He's getting that crazy work. Again, he told me he sparred Haney and Rowley back in July. Those are the two names he's told. Oh, and he told me he sparred Robeisy Ramirez. So my man was getting top quality sparring, you know. He actually fought Robeisy Ramirez in the Pan American Games in the gold medal match. He lost, which is why he got the silver. You know, and not the gold. Robeisy Ramirez got the gold. My man A-Side Boxing Talk. La voz del boxeo dominicano. Yes, sir. Shout out to A-Side Boxing Talk, one of the best YouTube channels on YouTube. Go subscribe to his channel for sure, man. I appreciate you, Truth. Shout out to you for sending that $10 super chat. Yeah, man. Yo, but I don't know what you're doing, but that link is pinned to the top of the chat if you want to hop on real quick and you know, talk some boxing. You more than welcome to, man. You know, you're always welcome on this channel. But yeah, man. Vegas, you get that sparring work, man. There ain't no easy sparring out in Vegas, man. So again, even the guy Hector sparred when I went to go see him in Vegas, that guy's record was like 8-1. Yo, the guy was sharp. The guy was real good. It was a Mexican kid, and the dude was nice. The dude could fight. So yeah, and that's probably I don't know his situation, but that's probably a guy that, you know, is really good, has that one loss, and people know he's really good and don't want to give him a fight. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the Kenneth Sims situation. Kenneth Sims, I think he has 2 losses and a draw. So his record don't look like, it looks like an ugly ass record. But you see how he fights, you're like, oh shit, this guy can fight. That's who he fought. He fought Elvis Rodriguez. That probably was the only person who was willing to fight him and lost. You know, all right, cool. People are learning their lesson. People look at Kenneth Sims, they go, hold on, he beat Elvis? Nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? People looking the other way when it comes to Kenneth Sims. So that's probably the case with the guy that Hector was sparring. That guy would look sharp, you know? Yeah, Michelle Rivera needs a new trainer. I would agree. I'll be honest with you. I think he does need a new trainer. I'll just leave it at that. I think he needs a new trainer. The fact that he had that much trouble with the southpaw stance worried me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that, like, if it was just like a you know, a style problem, or you know, Frank made adjustments or this or that, I would be okay. I'm like, no, it just happened. He lost to the better fighter, but it just seemed like he didn't know what to do with the southpaw stance. He kept dipping to his right, Frank's left. He kept spinning to his right, Frank's left, and he never quite adjusted in positioning his left foot outside of Frank's right foot, and all that is technical problems. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like problems like oh you know, like, oh, his conditioning was bad, or you know, he ain't show heart, or this or that. Is like, this is all like a problem a trainer should fix, and the fact that he had that problem in the biggest fight of his career lets me know you need a new trainer. Yeah. Probably Vegas probably got all them Sanson 15 and 4-14 knockout Argentinians. That's hilarious, bro. That's hilarious. Yeah. If Hector comes out like he did in that sparring, he'll be down 0-3. He'll start to do more and will be asleep by the end of 6. Enjoy the content, bro. Wish you were Hector's interpreter. Well, listen, if anything, listen, first of all, Hector don't fight the way y'all saw him spar. Hector wins his rounds very clear. We've seen him fight 3 times on television. We've seen him fight Isaac Avila, Chris Colbert, and Roger Gutierrez. Now, the Isaac Avila fight, he got dropped in the first round. He got up and dominated that rest of that round. Still lost the round because he got dropped, but he dominated that round. All right. Then that was an 8-round. The next 7 rounds, he won every single round after that. He won all 7, clearly too. In the Chris Colbert fight, I scored that fight 11-1. He won all 11 of those rounds very clear. In the Roger Gutierrez fight, I scored that fight 10-2. I can see 9-3. But I scored it 10-2. So, and 9 of those rounds were very clear. So he's somebody who wins his rounds very clear. You know what I'm saying? And Gervonta Davis is somebody who gives up the early rounds, tries to adjust, and measures out his shots to get a knockout. So I can't picture in any kind of way, shape, or form where he's down 0-3. I can't. I'm sorry. Why, when fighters lose, they got to automatically change trainers? Well, it honestly, it depends what you see. You know what I'm saying? Not all the times. If he had lost and it was a 50-50 fight, and, you know, like a fight could have gone either way, it was a split decision, cool. But when you get dominated like that, made no adjustments, and then your instructions in the 5th round is, yo, you got to go knock this guy out. In the 5th round, you got to go knock this guy out, bro. There's 7 more rounds left. You giving bad instructions. So not all the times, but I don't think he made enough adjustments. I don't think he knew what he was doing when he was fighting the southpaw, and or that those things fall on the trainer. Also, he had, you know, trouble making the weight. That's what he told me in the interview. He had trouble making the weight. That also falls on the trainer. So there's just a lot of things that fall on the trainer. So we'll see what he does. But I agree with the previous guy who I mentioned. What was his name? Al Simmons Hellspawn. I think Michelle Rivera needs a new trainer. Yeah. Slim, what's going on, Ron boy? Yo, you gonna you from DC, so you be at the fight, right? With Tank and Hector, you gonna be at that fight? I'm gonna be there. So if you're gonna be there, let me know so we can link, man. By the way, if anybody's going to the fight on in DC, man, hit me up. If y'all don't hit me up and y'all see me in the arena, y'all want a picture with me, that's cool with me. I'm definitely approachable. I'm not gonna act all funny. You know what I'm saying? If you say, oh, yo, I'm a subscriber, cool, I'll take a pic. I'll give you a pound or have a boxing conversation or whatever it is. You know, just come at me with positive vibes and shit like that, and I'll definitely you know, reciprocate the positive vibes, man. Oh yeah, Ron, I forgot you did too. He goes, absolutely not. I told y'all why I'm not going. Yeah, he not. You know what? That's a story for another day. But yeah, I forgot you told me you wasn't going to the fight. Yeah, you did tell me. What kind of style should Dominicans have to attract a Dominican fan base? Man, just fight, just win. The winning style. That's what the fuck style they need to have, man. They just need a win. You know why? because times have changed, man. I keep telling y'all, they got me now. I'm gonna be the one promoting them. And honestly, there's no Dominican who has a boring style. Like, I you're not gonna listen. Hector's not a boring fighter. De Los Santos definitely not a boring fighter. Elvis is not a boring fighter. Puello, I just gave him the award for the Dominicans fight of the year, so he was in a really good fight. Who else? Jason Rosario. I know he's retired now, but he was in some exciting fights. Nunez was in an exciting fight earlier this year. I don't know any Dominican that's a boring fighter. And some of the guys I mentioned score knockouts. So it's not necessarily a style, it's a way they need to be promoted. They need to be promoted in New York. That's one. And two, they need a pump. You know, there's just so many ways that, like, I don't see them on World Latin Star. I don't see them pushing them on the radio. I don't see no flyers, no nothing around the city when they're gonna fight. I don't see no commercials. I don't see nothing that these promotional companies are doing. They just throw the fight and hope that the Dominicans show up. So what they need to do to attract the Dominican fan base, the promoters need to do a better job. That's what it is. And that may sound harsh, but it's the truth, man. It's the truth. Yeah. Yeah. What's next for De Los Santos? Shakur said he got to do something. Man, Shakur don't want that smoke. That's what it is. But no, what's next for De Los Santos? I don't know. Last I spoke to his promoter, he told me sometime in February or March he'll fight, but it doesn't look like he'll be fighting February. So I'm gonna have to say March. It looks like he'll probably fight March against who knows. I was told the name, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. Truth, my man.
It was good.
What's going on, my man?
Chilling, man. You know, enjoying the new year. You know,
you cut your hair?
Yeah, man. You know,
oh yeah, I remember you had longer hair, man. My man looking fresh and shit.
Cut the beard down. You know what I mean?
New year, new me.
Same, man. New year, new me. You know how I go, bro.
What's going on, man?
Man.
Talk to me, man. What's your thoughts on this Tank situation?
Man, I was kind of nervous, man, because you know I got tickets and you know I spent a pretty penny, man. So you know I really was just hoping that they was going to keep it going. Again, it looks like they are. I do agree with that. You know, I mean, I think that's like a social issue, man. Like a lot of us, man, we can be too judgmental with just the what we see on a superficial side or the outer layer. You get what I'm saying? Like this stuff going on, like, yeah, it's wrong, but I don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. Like we don't, like, you know what I mean? We're seeing him post videos. We're seeing, you know, other things. And it's a lot, man. And at this point, man, this is when I bow out and say, hey, I'm a boxing fan. I just want to see the fight. Whatever that man got to do outside the ring.
I'm with you. Like, people want to make these judgments and, oh, he's a horrible person and this and that. Yeah. And if you want to say he's a horrible person based off what happened at the basketball game, I can't blame you, because whatever your opinion is on that situation is your opinion. Yeah. But if you want to base your opinion on Gervonta after this event, I think you're being a bit unfair, because nobody knows the details. From what I understand, there hasn't been no medical records released. There hasn't been any type of pictures of an injured woman. I don't know if he did or didn't. Listen, I'm not going to be outraged that he is a woman beater, and I'm not going to be sitting here defending him because I don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. And let's wait for the shit to pan out so we can then figure out, is this dude what he wants him to be? And then from there, you make your decision as to if you want to watch the fight, if you want to buy tickets or whatever. Yep. But as of right now, I feel like a lot of people jump into conclusions. And you guys.
But bro, you gotta look at it like, and I'm not absolving him by any, like, again, I don't know what was true, and truthfully, honestly, I'm sorry, I don't care, right? It don't affect me, my daily life. He just a part of my life, which is boxing. I'm a boxing fan, and it's sad to see, but on a big level, I don't care. But Our GOATs have been through this. Muhammad Ali has been through the same situation multiple times. You get what I'm saying?
He had domestic violence cases?
Yes, bro. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Look it up. You know what I mean?
Listen, I believe
I'm just saying a lot of I mean, and now I don't make it like,
no, you're not condoning it. I know what you mean.
You get what I'm saying? But it's like you gotta let these people live their personal lives, man. It's like when it comes to these fighters, I think like because we have such access to them, we almost act as if like we like the morality police or something like that. You know what I mean? Everybody got things about them that they do that's not that. Like if you opened up my life, you know what I mean? And I'm a square guy for the most part. I have 4 kids, married, whatever. But if you open up my life, it probably be some things that Broadway Joel be like, "Hey, truth, why you do this?" Like, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I just want to see the fight, man. I just want to be in the number, you know, and then whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, no, even Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson claims his innocence to this day, but regardless of what he claims, he was found guilty of rape, went to jail, and after serving his sentence, came out, and he had one of the biggest fights in heavyweight history against Holyfield. And I'm pretty sure he got paid somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 million.
Yeah.
You know, in 1993, too, whatever year it was, you know what I'm saying, where $30 million back then is probably the equivalent to 100 now, you know. So we, like you said, we've seen this in the past with boxers where they have had, you know, domestic cases, rape cases, all kinds of cases, and came on, and still, you know, the fans still supported, because at the end of the day, they're just looking at it as like, he's just a person on TV that I watch that fights. I don't have a personal relationship. I don't hang out with this guy. He's not. We're not going to church, you know, together. So I'm just gonna watch the fight. Whether, you know, they may now root against him, but they'll still watch the fight.
Exactly. But again, man, I just, you know, I be trying to stay out of that, man. We all human, man. We all human. So, you know, I just been trying to stay out of that. But that's some good. That might be the card of the year, man. It's a lot of good fights there. A lot of good fights there.
I mean, I think there's a lot of good names. I don't know if there's a lot of good fights. You know, Boots is a great name, but he's fighting some dude.
Yeah.
You know, Boo Boo's a good name, but he's fighting Damon Nicholson, a guy who lost to Berlanga.
Yeah.
Rashidi Ellis, good name. Who's he fighting? I forgot who
Roman Villa.
He's actually not bad.
He's like a real pressure fighter too. So I think if you ask me, I think that got the ability to be like the fight of the night. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think because with Rashidi Ellis, he got one of the fastest hands in boxing. You got this guy Villa, who even in the Boca Chica fight, he was saying that he didn't get enough time to actually train. He didn't get a full camp for the Boca Chica fight. And you see how he came out in that fight. I don't know if you saw that was a Showbox card, but he came out very strong. Like, he throws a lot. He remind me of like a mixture between like Maidana and Mayorga. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could throw those guys together. I think you got Roman Villa. You know what I mean? And so I'm curious to see like with his come forward style and Rashidi quick hands. You know, we got to get out the way. I think that could make for a very, very interesting fight. And if Rashidi Ellis is showing ring rust, it might be rough. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's one of those guys, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. No, for sure. And Rashidi's somebody who somewhat relies on timing. And if you got a pressure fighter like that and you're rusty, I can see how that can be a problem. But all right. So that fight, I'll take that back. That's a good fight. But the other two fights, they're kind of like just names that, you know, we're excited for. I know the Peterson brothers are deep in the undercard, but
I'm not interested in it.
Yeah, I'm not interested in those fights at all whatsoever.
I think, you know, Peterson, he lost a lot of steam after that Brandon Rios, after the Brandon Rios loss.
Yeah, that's when everything went downhill.
Yeah, everything was, you know. But so, you know, it's funny, man, because now that I just brought that up, really, are we talking about it? But it's kind of odd, like, you know, sometimes, and granted, we're not professional fighters, but sometimes it's weird to see fighters almost like quit sometimes. You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying he quit, but those low blows was kind of like those. We knew why he was throwing those low blows, right? And then even last night, man, when you kind of take it back to, you know, I'm just looking at his, you know, I'm a fucking nerd, right? So I'm looking at like the history of pressure fighters, right? So then I pull up JCC versus Roger Mayweather too, and it's like Mayweather's trying, man. He trying to keep up with JCC, and this is a really good fight, man. But the last round, no mas. I don't want to come off the store. And remember, like, people got to remember, in that time, his nickname was the Mexican Assassin, bro. Like, they used to say that out loud, like the Mexican Assassin.
No, but you know what the thing is he started fading a little bit. Yeah. And it almost just seemed like Chavez was just getting stronger.
He was one of those fighters, man. Chavez, I don't know what, bro. He never quit. Like, he never had quit in him. Like, he always fought, bro. Like,
you know,
yeah.
No, get my bad.
Even with like the movers, like I forgot which fight I was watching, man. I got to look back and see who was the fight. He just couldn't hit the guy. Like, he just could. No, Purnell. When he fought Purnell, like, he just couldn't hit Purnell. And as I'm watching that fight in my mind, I'm thinking like Canelo and Lara, right? That kind of, I just drew a similarity there. But the difference between Chavez, man, he never stopped, bro. Like, even when he was frustrated, he was coming forward. Like, bro, he was probably one of the best pressure fighters like ever.
Yo, and his chin, bro. To me, he had the best chin in boxing history.
Yeah,
so when I first started my channel, I had this weird, because I'm kind of like you, a boxing nerd. So I had this kind of like weird boxing grading system I wanted to do. So I watched every single fight Chavez had against a former world champion, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was rating it like, oh, if he was a former world champion, former unified champion, and then I had like a regular win, a quality win, or I had it like each win had a certain level of ranking.
Yeah.
And I watched all of his championship fights, all of his fights against either current champions or former world champions.
Yeah.
And I don't know how this dude can still talk. Like,
that's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. And then you watch a guy like him, and then you watch a guy like Wilfredo Benitez, man. That shit,
Benitez was nasty with it, with the defense, and he was real. He had really good head movement. But if for those people who are boxing nerds like us, and you want to watch a war with Chavez in it, watch Julio Cesar Chavez versus Rocky Lockridge.
Yeah,
that fight was nasty, man. Or him against Juan Laporte. That fight, actually, I don't know who won that fight. That was a close fight. I didn't score the fight, and I regret. I should rewatch it and rescore it. That fight was a brawl, and I don't know who won that fight. I really don't.
We could watch that one.
Yeah, we could definitely. We gonna have to do that on the official scorecard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we could rescore that joint, man. Yeah, that was. Man, yeah, that was
G Funky Boxing with the $2 super chat. Keep up the good work, Joel. Thank you so much, brother.
Hey, I actually got wind of G Funky Boxing, like, I want to say a couple weeks ago, maybe a night or two before the Frank Martin Rivera fight. I was on Boxing Gyms. I was on his live, and he told me to go follow G Funky Boxing, and I've been checking his workout, man. He do his thing.
Yeah, he was on the official scorecard with me for the Canelo Triple G. I think one.
Okay.
I don't remember. It was one of those that he was on the official scorecard with me. But yeah, no. Getting back to the conversation, man. That fight with Juan Laporte, I don't know who won that fight, and that was it was a brutal war, war.
Yeah.
You see Laporte's face afterwards, and that's another thing about Chavez. He never really marked up.
Yeah, he never really cut that, man. He was different, man. He was different.
His face was made out of leather or some shit like that. He was in these wars, and he would come out just with little black eye here, little this, but never no like major stuff considering the type of wars he was in.
And watching Chavez, man, like if you ever like watch him ringside at a Chavez Jr. fight when he like the Danny Jacobs fight, or you could see, like, if you watch Chavez, then you understand his disgust when he watching you understand his disgust when he watching his son like do this bullshit.
You know what's funny? I got into boxing because of my mother, and my mother, her favorite fighter was Chavez.
Yeah.
Well, my father got her into boxing, right? And so my mother would my whole life would tell me how Chavez was the man, how he was better than everybody. And, I'm like, she would like break down the history. She was like his fight with Camacho and his fight with Edwin Rosario, and how she was such a big fan. and she would buy the pay-per-views when I was a kid and shit like that. So like a lot of people are like, oh, you got into boxing because my father's in the business. You got into boxing because of your father? Like, nah, I got into boxing because of my mother,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is weird.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
many people could say that. So
yeah.
I'm one of the few that could say that. Like,
And even drawing similarities, like as I was watching the Chavez and Mayweather too, in my mind, I was like, bro, like I could see why Floyd take the route that he did, man. Like but seriously, bro, like you look up to your uncle, right? Like this dude is like a legend in your life, and a Mexican made him quit, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, and not to be funny, but like you kind of like and then you look at Floyd's career, like, you know what I mean? Like
he only want to fight Mexicans
yeah,
now.
bro. Like, and then, like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like that shit funny to me, man.
He was like, yo, they took that title of Mexican assassin away from my uncle. I'm gonna make up for it by fighting De La Hoya, fighting fucking
Guerrero, fucking Ortiz.
Castillo.
Yeah, like all of them guys, man.
He
Like
fought mad Mexicans. Yeah,
he
yeah.
got
That's
taken
the green print. The green print
Yeah.
is a black fighter versus a Mexican fighter. Because
Yeah.
that's the thing. He was smart. I remember when he was arguing with Brian Kenny, and Brian Kenny was like, why you fighting Marquez, who's a lightweight, when Shane Mosley just beat Margarito?
Yeah.
And he's like, Marquez got a whole country behind him. At the time, I remember watching that and going, man, I don't want to see you fight Marquez. I want to see you fight Mosley.
Yeah.
He was trying to say, like, yo, bro, we're
money.
talking about two different fan bases here that we're talking about.
Exactly.
My black fans gonna buy the pay-per-views that support me, and the Mexican fans gonna buy the pay-per-view to support him. And he was trying to tell Brian Kenny that, and it makes sense to me now that I'm older and I kind of know the business and all that.
Yeah.
Which is why I had a conversation with somebody, and I was saying how if Crawford and Spence, one of them was Mexican or Puerto Rican and the other one was still American, I feel like the fight would have got done.
Yeah, it would have been too big not to do it.
Yeah, because right now, listen, it's a big fight, don't get me wrong, but they're both African Americans, so they both have the kind of the same fan base. Obviously, some are gonna go towards Spence, some are gonna go towards Bud, and you get the like me. I'm not African American, but I'm gonna buy that pay per view no matter what. But you get the hardcore fan, but as far as the casual Mexican fan, casual Puerto Rican fan, they may not be as excited to buy that pay per view.
Yeah, I think the problem is that we don't have enough fights that like transcend the sport. Like for sure, if you put a Mexican and a Puerto Rican together, it's gonna go up. For sure, you put a black fighter and a Puerto Rican guy together, it's gonna go up. Heavyweights are heavyweights, but I think like when you talk about the fan base for this fight, I'm just trying to like think like what was the last like huge fight that had like two black fighters together, right? And then, but on top of that, like this fight, even granted it's the same fan base, but this fight is gonna like determine who's the number one fighter in the world. I don't think we had a fight as of recent history that's like, okay, this guy won. Well, and out of these two, like if this fight determines who is the best guy in the world, probably without question. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, granted, anybody's gonna kind of say what they want to say, but those two guys like high up on a pound for pound list with each other fighting, you gotta say the winner's the top guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
I mean, Mosley Mayweather, I believe that did 1.4 million in pay-per-views.
Yes.
So that was a minute ago though. That was like 2010 or something.
Yeah. But neither one of those guys were like, well, not neither. Well, Floyd was, but that wasn't even a competitive fight. If you watched this, Shane he ended up punching in the second round. But after that, like the rest of it was Nazim Richardson telling him like, "Hey, pick it up, Shane. Hey, come on, Shane. Hey, don't make me do what I don't want to do, Shane." Like, you know what I mean? Shit like that. So that was a good, a big money fight. But as far as the competition, it wasn't there.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, two black dudes. I mean, again, financially, Lennox Lewis versus Tyson, but that wasn't competitive, and people knew that wasn't going to be competitive.
Yeah,
people
knew. Sure. That was a money grab.
And honestly, heavyweights is a cheat code too.
Yeah.
It's like every heavyweight fight. Yeah, motherfucker made $20 million. Yeah, it's the heavyweights, of course. Nah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's been a minute. It's usually that combo of Mexican black or Puerto Rican Mexican or Puerto Rican black. It's always that mix. It's never really, you know.
Yeah, nah,
But
that's
yeah, we may have to go all the way back to like fucking Hagler Leonard or Leonard Hearns last time that something like that with
yeah, yeah,
two black guys that are not heavyweights, because again, heavyweights is a cheat code. So
yeah, for sure.
yeah, like big fights. So but again, that's something that Mayweather discovered, the green print.
Yeah,
And
yeah, for sure. You can't be mad at him, man. You can't be mad at nobody for getting their money at
nah,
all.
nah, nah. And
At
knowing the
all.
strategy.
What you think about what you think about again uh for all things being what it's worth, like Boots team saying that after Spence fight next, he got 120 days to fight Boots if Boots wins or vacate. Because I was under the impression that after Spence next fight, he was gonna have to defend against the winner of Stanionis and Virgil.
What I make of that is Bozy Ennis is probably reading the IBF rules and
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, after you win the eliminator, it takes 120 days for you to make a fight." So he's probably looking at it from like the
He
rule
say he
book
say he talked to
standpoint.
Daryl though.
Well, I see. All right, if he spoke to Daryl, that's something different. But these, and honestly, the IBF in the past have been the one sanctioning body that actually does try to follow their rules as best as they can. But you can't trust none of these sanctioning bodies, man. At the end of the day, especially if somehow, some way he can find a way to make a Bud fight. I believe the IBF has a rule that unifications trump mandatories,
Yeah.
which is why Canelo got stripped because he didn't submit the paperwork fast. Well, Golden Boy didn't submit the paperwork fast enough that he was gonna try to unify with Demetrius Andrew. There's a whole whatever that whole.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So, but honestly, I don't think that fight's gonna happen. I really don't. I saw Errol Spence posted that he was gonna fight in April of this year, but I don't know if Bud is available then.
I just wonder who that's going to be because, and that just, obviously we always play matchmaker, but when I seen Cody Crowley post that he was fighting in February, I already had seen Keith in training. I just kind of put it together that once Earl said he was out of that fight, that it was going to be Cody Crowley because he said it was going to be a WBC eliminator. So I just put in my mind, okay, Cody Crowley versus Thurman most likely. So who we see Spence against? Truthfully, I think that it's going to be. I think it's going to be Crawford, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I remember kind of like, I don't even remember where I was. I just remember like scrolling on Twitter and I just saw like Spence versus Pacquiao. Like, remember that? Like, you remember like there was no talks of that fight at all? Like, that shit wasn't being discussed. It wasn't like brought up by anybody. There was no rumblings or rumors. And then it just Spence versus Pacquiao. So I hope that's what they're doing. It makes sense with Crawford just fighting. It makes sense with, I think, Spence. We've seen him twice now with the Danny Garcia fight and with the Ugas fight off of long layoffs. We've seen him perform very well. So I don't think that at this point, I think with Spence's, I don't want to say desperation, but I think he's very eager to get that fight done. I think that these guys is probably with Canelo, next fight going to be on the zone in May or something like that. I just think it makes sense. If y'all got a big budget, it got to go for that. Like, I mean, like it only makes sense.
Listen,
for me.
I'm hoping you're right, brother. That's a fight I really want to see, and I think everybody in the boxing game wants to see. And I hope you're right. If I had to make a prediction, I think it's Thurman. But listen, I hope I'm wrong. I hope tomorrow they announce fucking Spence versus Crawford, and we could get back on live debating because I know you got Crawford winning. I got Spence winning, so that we're already gonna have to start debating once that fight gets made. One thing I will say, I was at the Rivera Martin fight. I saw Spence, man. He looked a little heavy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but remember, he had the car accident. He probably stopped training or whatever. Or I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. To be fair, it's the holidays. Also, he was wearing a sweater. Never know. It may just be puffy. I don't know. He looked a little heavy. I was like, damn, he looked big as shit.
I mean, and not the no shade or slight at Keith Thurman, but like if he fighting in April, that means the last time he fought was April 16th. The last time Thurman fought was in February. Like, who wants to see two fighters both coming off a year, one guy coming off a year, one guy coming off a year and 2 months, whose layoff before that was like 3 years or something, 2, 3, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody, I mean, not saying nobody, because somebody does want to see it, but I don't want to see that shit. Like as far as like competition wise, I just know after that fight, it's gonna be excuses made. Like, well, yeah, I had the Pacquiao fight, and then I came back with Barrios, and then a year and 2 months. Like, I don't want to hear that shit, man. Like, I don't even want to see that fight, honestly.
Nah, I don't want to see a fight either, especially since I think it's a non-competitive fight. I think Errol Spence stops him to the body. He's been hurt multiple times to the body. A lot of people go, oh, but he's never been dropped. Yeah, well, none of the guys who hurt him to the body are Spence. So, like, if you're telling me fucking Barrios and who's the other guy? Collazo could hurt you to the body.
Yeah.
like, come on. Like, you're not gonna tell me that Spence, an elite welterweight, a 3-belt unified champion, can't hurt you to the body. And also, Spence is known for being a body puncher. That's like his shtick. You know what I'm saying? So you're telling me one of your weaknesses is his strengths?
And one thing that Spence do very good, just like JCC, is cut that fucking ring off, man. That I think that was another lost art. I mean, it is a lost art, but I don't care who you was, man. Like Chavez was cutting that ring off. Maybe just not Pernell, because you know some fighters is like but
Pernell is elite. Yeah,
he was elite, and then Pernell was a great inside fighter too. So he's not the guy. Like, yeah, you want to cut the ring off, but and then do what? Because he's probably better than you on the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So in that fight, he stood on the inside with him. He wasn't running like how a lot of people remember that fight totally wrong. He was not running the whole time. He was on the inside and he was just slipping shit on the inside. Yeah. At times he would move, but it wasn't like running, moving. It was just like, I'm not just gonna stay in one place for you to hit me. I'm just moving that way.
The boxer versus the puncher. And I think like even when you watch those fights, like a lot of those guys, like I watch like JCC, you watch a lot of those guys. It's different, man. Like a lot of their boxing stances was much closer. So like now it seemed like when you watching fighting, fighters prefer leverage over balance, right? Like you could have your feet don't have to be like fucking miles apart for you to have like good balance and leverage and shit like that. A lot of these guys will keep their feet close. You know what I mean? They would more lean back with their shoulder, so the other guy would have a reach advantage. It's just like a lot of things of like cutting the ring off now. It's like a lost art. Establishing your jab is like a lost art now. It's like a lot of the like boxing fundamentals that fighters had that made like real competitive fights. We don't have it now. So like a lot of these fighters, they may not be that good, but their talent will make up for the lack of, you know what I mean? Or the talent and then the lack of competition they fighting make them look like they're like super elite. But I don't think a lot of the guys in this era would have beat a lot of those guys in those older eras.
I agree. And a great example of cutting off the ring from Chavez is that Hector Camacho fight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yo, like Camacho ain't have a fucking chance the way Chavez was putting that pressure on him. Close his eye. How they didn't stop that fight is beyond me. He could not see anything out of that eye. That eye was closed shut. Yeah. Really cut off the ring, pressure, had him on the ropes, and Camacho just couldn't do nothing to get him off of him. He was too strong, and it's ironic because they both started off at 130, so it almost just seemed like Chavez was a division above him. Yeah. He was just way too strong, and he was not letting him move, and then he just kept cutting off the ring, And another thing that the old fighters used to do that I feel that they don't do as much now is go to the body.
Yeah.
I feel like back then they went. I remember on the official scorecard, well, on good stoppage, bad stoppage, actually. We did Chavez versus Meldrick Taylor. Yeah. And one of the things we were like, yo, these guys are murdering each other to the body.
Yeah.
And again, you was with me when we did Duran Leonard.
Yeah.
Body shots from both fighters.
Yeah, man.
It's a lost art. A lot's changed. We sound like the old dudes.
Old heads, right?
Yeah, like back in the day. But even that's before our era. We just acknowledging what we seeing, man. Yeah. And the dudes were definitely tougher back then too.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Definitely tougher. A lot of more stamina. Like again, like even like granted, when you look at again, like back to JCC, like whether good stoppage or bad stoppage, which I think it was a bad stoppage. But you got to give a guy credit for all of those, like, for just not quitting, man. Like, to the last bell, bro, Chavez was going to fight. And then, like, he was so talented, man. Like, he would even do shit like when he's coming forward, like, he would, like, walk forward sometimes. Like, if he was cutting the ring off, he will put one foot in front of the other, which is a big no-no in boxing. Like, man, his footwork was underrated, too. You know what I mean? Like, his footwork was underrated, man. That dude, man, I was watching, I because he fought a Puerto Rican guy. I think his name was Edwin Romero. Huh? Rosario. Yeah, Rosario. Yeah. I was watching that, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, that fight. And Edwin Rosario, for those who are not familiar with Edwin, he was a power puncher. Yeah. Chavez was walking through those shots.
I think that was NPR too.
I don't know, maybe. But that was also his first fight at lightweight. He's facing one of the hardest punches in the division at the time, walks through all his shots, beats the guy up, and stops him. Yeah. Chavez was nasty, man.
Look, and at that time, Broadway, he was only the third fighter in history to win a title at super featherweight and win a title at lightweight. He was only the third guy. That time.
I didn't even know that.
That was another one. I was watching fights all day yesterday, but that was another one I watched yesterday. I was like, damn, bro. And then on top of that, when they fought, it was outside, bro. It was like 50 degrees outside. Bro, it was like 50 degrees outside. So like Chavez came out first, and he was like, oh, you could see him cold, and they're trying to warm him up. And then Rosario made him wait too. Like he made him wait before he came out. Like
because he was the champion. He was that's crazy, man. That fight really showed how great he was, because he moves up in weight. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that's his first fight at lightweight, and he's fighting a future Hall of Famer who's a puncher and doesn't box, walks through all his shots. And to this day, Chavez says that that's the guy who hit him the hardest out of all the fights he's had. He says that Rosario's the guy who hit him the hardest, walked through all those shots and got the stoppage himself against the bigger man. Chavez is definitely an all-time great, probably top 20, top 25 all time for sure. And definitely top 5 in terms of entertainment value.
Yeah, and he was bro. He should, like, with the damage that he took and his fighting style, it's no way he should have all his faculties, bro. And he got them all.
I don't. He's commentating, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yo, like, and so it's funny. And you know what's crazy? Chavez Jr. actually had talent. That's the crazy part. It's just he was lazy and didn't have any heart. His father had such a bigger heart that he didn't leave anything left for Chavez Jr.
Yeah. I hate to see it.
Yeah, man. But yo, I'm about to end the live, but I appreciate you hopping on. I need everybody to go subscribe to his channel, A-Side Boxing Talk, my man Truth. Definitely go hit that subscribe button. Let him know Broadway sent you. Go subscribe, comment on his videos when he go live, the same way y'all go on live with me, go on live with him. Hit the like button for me right now, or the subscribe button if you haven't been subscribed. Anything else you want to leave out with?
Hey, man, new year. I mean, not a new year yet, but we starting off new, man. So I'm going to be going live 9 to 10 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, man. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 to 10. We're gonna do some night boxing talk, man. You know what I mean?
There you go. Now, when you guys, when y'all asking me, why haven't you gone live and this and that, and I try to go live as often as I possibly can. Look, you got another guy who's just as knowledgeable as me, out here putting in work 3 days a week. He's about to start, get this engine running, and about to start having a lot of boxing conversations. Again, we may just stumble on an old boxing conversation. Like, now, today was Chavez. Next time it could be Leonard. Next time it could be Duran. You never know. We having good boxing conversations on these channels, man. All right, guys, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. And again, go check out A-Side Boxing Talk. Hit that subscribe button on his channel too. All right, guys, until next time. Peace.
Peace.